Hey guys, I'm Liz Kreutz in for Gotti Schwartz, and we're going to start tonight with those new developments in the investigation into the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, the mother of our colleague Savannah Guthrie. For the first time now, we are seeing the ransom notes, the ones sent months ago to the Guthrie family. And we're going to start here by reading those notes to you in their entirety, beginning with the first one, which was sent February 2nd, a day after Nancy's abduction. And as we read through them, pay attention to the tone, the shift in tone in these notes, and the word choices. That is what law enforcement wants you to do. That is part of why they released them. Here is that first note. It begins with this chilling message. Hello, Savannah. We have your mother, Nancy. She is safe but scared. She will be held for ransom, and once payment is received, she will be released unharmed. We will be holding her for a maximum of 7 days. You will need to send Bitcoin in the amount of $4 million USD before 5 p.m. on Thursday the 5th. If payment is not received, the ransom will be increased to $6 million USD, which will need to be paid by 5 p.m. on Monday the 9th. Once payment is received to the Bitcoin address below, she will be released within 12 hours of deposit to a safe drop-off location back in Tucson. If payment is not received by the last deadline on Monday the 9th at 5 p.m., she will be killed. Your mother is aware of this, and her life is in your hands. It is in the best interest of everyone to have this completed as soon as possible. You will not be able to contact me from here on out. There will be no negotiation. Do not play games. Law enforcement will not be able to help you. Now, the note then goes on to give the Bitcoin link, which has been redacted by police. And it ends with this final line. She had a white smartwatch on the floor of the foot of her bed, and the white floodlight in backyard was destroyed. Now, a second note sent 4 days later then said this to the Guthrie family. It said, "We did not fully grasp the seriousness of her physical condition. We never intended to hurt her. That was not our intention. She perished shortly after she was taken. We believe it was heart-related. She is buried in nature now. Nothing you could have done could have changed the outcome. We want your family to know this and hope you can all find peace. We are truly sorry." Now, 6 months after her disappearance, authorities continue to investigate this case as a kidnapping. But the investigation is also now facing a new legal challenge. As of this week, 2 Arizona men detained during the search, along with the mother of one of those men, have filed a notice of claim against the Pima County Sheriff's Office of wrongful detention, property damage, and reputational harm. Their attorneys allege deputies held one man at gunpoint for approximately 7 to 8 hours without probable cause, while damaging another man's home during a search. Both men were later released without charges. Joining us now live is Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos. He's going to join us to discuss all of this, starting with these new developments today. So, Sheriff, good to see you. Thank you for joining us tonight. Let's start by talking about the release of those ransom notes. Why did you and your department, why did you decide to release them now?
Well, I think we all heard from Nancy the other day, and all the investigators agree. There is somebody out there who knows something. They know who did this, and the plea is really that's what we want to hear. We want to hear from those who know who did this. We know it could be a family member, it could be a brother, a sister, a friend, a neighbor. We just want to hear from you, and I think the notes speak for themselves. There's, as you pointed out at the top of the show here, that there's some language and verbiage there that I think is telling, and there's certainly some concern in what's in there from the investigators. So yeah, it has been 6 months. Although we have a lot of evidence and work in front of us, we still believe somebody out there can help.
Sheriff, you said this could be a friend, a family member. You really, it sounds like, don't really have any particular leads. Do you believe this is someone who knows the Guthries, or somebody else who saw this as a crime of opportunity?
There's been a lot of speculation out there as to the clearing of different individuals, and this person's a suspect and that person's a suspect. What I would tell you is simply this. Number one, and those individuals where we obtained search warrants on, that was done because we believe there was probable cause to go and look for Nancy at those residents. And that probable cause was presented to a court, and the court issued search warrants. We conducted those warrants, and we continue on with our investigative efforts. But what's really troubling to me is we still see some of the white noise out there that's kind of disturbing. The family, I've said this before, and I continue to say it today, the family is not a suspect or suspects in this case. They are victims, and I can't say that any stronger than that. Some people can say some pretty hurtful things out there, and it's a shame, but I can't stress enough. If you know something, if you have any information, call us, call the FBI tip line. We need that information.
Okay, so let me ask you again about these two notes. You guys, your office points out some of the word choices are notable, and also the shift in tone from the first note to the second note. The second one even seems to have some sort of an apology in it. What do you make of that? What does that tell you? And what should we sort of take away from that?
You know, I like you. I read those notes, and it's a little disturbing. I can't even really put my finger on what exactly about the verbiage, the syntax, the narrative portion of that note. But I'm hopeful that maybe somebody out there who was thinking about, hey, I wonder if this could be my friend, my neighbor, my enemy, somebody, by seeing this and reading it, maybe it will jog something. Maybe it'll make them think about, you know what? I think it is this person. And that's really it. It's just as you read it and see it as somewhat disturbing, and in its manner, the tone, maybe somebody else will see that same thing and be able to put it together for us.
Do you think it's possible these could have been written by AI, like ChatGPT or Claude?
Anything is possible. Absolutely. We're not ruling anything out. But the investigators just believe that, one, this note was out there. It got out there, the two notes, and we want to be factual with its presence. When we submit it to you, we want you to know that what you see there is actually factual and accurate. And that's key, too.
And something else that's in it is that they kind of shift between saying we and me. Do you think this is still one person, or is this that person in that video maybe acted with others?
You know, we look at the videos we submitted to, I think that first week of an individual at the front door. And then I think there's another second video that's a little bit different in his attire. I think the backpack is missing. Could it be more than one? Absolutely. Is it just one at the door? We let you decide. We've not ruled out any possibility in that regard, that one person did this or that this person had help.
6 months now since this abduction. Are law enforcement, is your team any closer to figuring out who that person is in that surveillance video?
I believe we are, and it's only because of the investigative efforts that not just have been ongoing, but continue to go. We have some of the brightest minds in the world on this. Our DNA being analyzed not by our lab or the FBI lab, but by several labs around this country scientists who know and understand all the ins and outs of DNA. And they work hard every day. They relate with one another. They share information. They're constantly talking with our team. And so those efforts continue. But beyond that, we still have a lot of forensic evidence in terms of the videos and the cameras that we've taken video from and steals from. And that's in the thousands, if not tens of thousands, as are the leads and tips that still come in. So, yes, we believe that this is nowhere near cold. We believe it's a very active case. It just takes a lot of effort and a lot of energy from not just my team in the FBI, but the labs that are working this, as well as corporate America. I can't stress enough thanks to and gratitude to a lot of the major corporations in this nation who have stepped up and said, hey, I think this, or hey, maybe we can help you here. And so, again, that gives me a lot of faith, a lot of hope in that you've got the biggest minds out there working on this. I think we're going to get to some resolution here. I just wish I could say it's going to happen tomorrow or next week or next. Time is always part of the equation in this, and it's unfortunate because sometimes we can solve a case within days, but sometimes it does take a lot of time.
Are you hoping that by releasing these notes, you not only will get the public to pay attention, maybe send in more tips, but perhaps sort of get this person or the people who wrote these notes to maybe open up a new line of communication?
Well, absolutely. We welcome that too. I mean, look, if you know something, if you're a participant in this, we want to hear from you. We want Nancy back. It's really just that simple. The family wants their mom back. We want her back. And if you know where she is, call us.
I'm going to ask you now, Sheriff, about those claims that were made by the men who were detained. Why did the department feel that those actions were necessary then, and what do you make of their claims now? I mean, you say that they're still not fully ruled out. Is that right?
Nobody's ruled out. You know, what I would tell you is simply this. I can't speak to ongoing litigation, but I can say this. Our investigative efforts led us through evidence, tips, whatever it was, to build a case that said, we think there's something at this residence or with these individuals, and told this to a judge who said, yep, I think you've got enough probable cause. I'm going to give you that warrant, that search warrant. We went, we served the search warrant, we spoke to the individuals involved, and we're keep moving forward with the investigation.
My final thing for you, because through this has come to light that another gentleman was detained who we hadn't known about. This Daniel Maddox man, his mother's also part of these claims. And then Carlos Palazuelos, who is the man from Rio Rico. There's also Luke Daly, who lives near the Guthrie family. How many people have been detained overall over the past several months in connection with this?
I really don't know. Those two incidents, the one on the north side and the one in Rio Rico, those were the two incidents where there were people detained. That's all I can say to that.
Okay. Well, Sheriff, thank you for your time. We appreciate it, and we will check back with you soon, I'm sure.
Thank you, Liz.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.